They not like us. They not like us.
Kalvo on a vision. Yabui on the frame. 2 minds, 1 mission. Elevating the game. From the lens to the cut, yeah, we callin' the play. Directing the flow like we moving ballet. Kalvo bring the story, every scene got soul. Yabui painting light, every shot got gold. Behind the glass or behind the mic, we break it all down, every wrong, every right. This the spot where the real ones speak, where film meets truth every day of the week. We the shot, callers no cap, just facts. From the first frame roll to the final act. If you living for the art, then you already know. Tune in with the squad, let the creativity flow. Yeah, yeah, from the lens to the cut, yeah, we callin' the play. Directing the flow like we moving ballet.
All right, welcome back. Like May said, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome. No, we are back again with another episode of the Shot Callers podcast. Oh man, we are just checking along. I can't even remember what number it is, but we thank you for tuning in with us tonight. We have a great show tonight, a great show ahead of you all for tonight. It feels like it's been forever since we were last together, but it's really just been a week, huh?
Yeah, it's been a week. It's been your birthday, though.
It
Happy birthday
has.
to you, bro.
Thank you. I know, a lot of lituations have been kind of happening since, and so I've been on the go, and a lot has kind of transpired since we were last together celebrating, another year older. So I'm definitely thankful for that and just grateful to be alive, man. My birthday celebration was uh it was an incredible time.
Bro, you was looking fly, bro.
Thank
And
you.
you had 2 outfits. I'm sorry I couldn't make it, but man,
No,
looks like you guys had a great
I
time.
appreciate that. And so for you all watching and listening, this year for my birthday, I hosted a Met Gala themed birthday party, and it was a good time. People came out, they showed out, I put my own theme towards it called the director's cut, because like cut, but then like
Yep.
fashion cut. And I had encouraged people to kind of come dressed as their like favorite star icon villain and just kind of pull inspiration for that. So it was a good time. And so yeah, definitely glad and was, to able to just do that. And I'm glad to be back here today. This is a celebration every time we get together, you booey. So yeah, how was your week, man?
Man, it's just been busy, graduation shoots and family sick, and but everything's been great, bro. I'm just glad I can do what I do as my job. So
Yeah, so
definitely.
also you all your boo, you got a new movie coming out soon.
Oh yeah, March 15th.
May.
May Oh my gosh, see, May 15th, Southern Village. Go ahead and get your pre-orders. Only $11.99 on Apple TV. Apple TV.
Yeah,
It's
and
up there with Severance and all those other great movies they have over there. So go to Apple TV and check it out on March 15th. Get your pre-order. And then, man, I might have a little watch party next week or something. So,
you should. From the mind of Rico Tonsil Studios, directed by Rico. So
Rico did a great, man, everybody did a great job,
yeah,
bro. Everybody did a
so
great job.
I had an opportunity to see the film, and it's a good film, you all. So definitely pre-order and go check that out. And speaking of which, that's a feature length film, right?
Yeah, it's like an hour and 40 minutes. Man, lots of editing involved with that.
So
Go ahead.
oh no, say what you're gonna say.
No, it's just a lot of editing, man. This long nights for an hour 40-minute film.
A lot of people, it's amazing. I didn't know much about it until I really started getting into editing. Man, you can really spend like hours and days editing something that is even like just a few minutes long. And so when you look into like the editing process of like a feature, like I can only imagine. And when I think about like, even though our episode tonight is not about editing, you all, but editing features for like major studio production, sometimes they do like 6 months to a year
Oh
to
yeah,
like really like edit it right. But when you look at what we're doing on our scale of things, it makes sense.
yeah, exactly. And you don't have whole teams. You don't, because normally there is a DP
Hmm.
handles like um directing the camera operator and the gaff for the lighting and everything. And then you have the camera operator. Then you have the people with the lights. Then you have people that hold the boom. Then you have your own editor. You have all that stuff. So in our case, we're all in one. Like in your case, you write it. You're the camera operator. You direct it. You do everything, bro. I mean, I'm glad I don't have to write and organize people. That's what Rico is great at, just like yourself.
Hmm.
So just doing my part, I'm just happy just doing my part. Sound, lighting, camera operator, all that stuff, along with the editing, and then editing the visual part of it is like, I think that's the easy part, because then you gotta edit for pacing, you gotta
Hmm.
put the sound in there, you gotta put the scoring, sound design, soundtrack, all that stuff. So
Yeah, I will say like I'm glad you touched on that. That's kind of cool. When you're talking about like visually and editing the pacing of things. So recently, you all, I mentioned it in the second episode just dropped, so y'all go check that out. But I've been working on my horror thriller web series called The Peppermint Lady. It's good, y'all.
yes, I saw
Pat my
episode one. I gotta go check out episode two.
Yeah, so it
I missed
drops
it.
weekly every week, every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Y'all be sure to go check that out. But with it being a like suspense thriller, that is one thing that I had to really focus in on myself was like the pacing of it. Cause
Yes,
like with suspense and with horror and stuff like that, like you have to find like the right pace of it. Uh, cause you want to build the tension and build the
exactly,
suspicion.
exactly.
And if you like cut it too short, it just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't hit. And if you draw it out too long, it's like, all right. And so that's always an interesting thing with me editing the different projects that I've been doing now. And with this being like a 7-part series, it's kind of like each episode is its own short. And so that's how I have to look at like I'm editing like 7 different short films. Uh
Exactly. And you have to. convey your idea is such a short amount of time, and editing is really, really important
Hmm.
to convey those ideas and to because you only have like 4 or 5 minutes of edited time to get everything in there,
I
and you do
know.
that so well.
Thank you. And so I think like one thing that I want to talk about tonight, which I like, that's a good leeway to the topic of our conversation for the night, is like short films versus like feature length films. Sorry, y'all, my glasses are incredibly dirty. But short films versus feature length films, right? So a lot of people know who know me, like I do a lot of short film filmmaking. Like I'm not a short film filmmaker, but like a lot of the projects that I have personally uh produced and directed have been short films. Although like I have worked on several countless feature films actually, but usually in the role like of assistant director or like other smaller I don't want to say smaller because our roles on film sets are big, but other roles on film sets. So I have not personally directed or shot a feature length film, but I've done several shorts, right? And so with
You
that
did
being
AD on Sacred,
I did.
and you've AD'd a whole bunch of other things shown on Facebook. Those vertical
Yeah,
full
so I
length
say yeah.
films.
So I said like I've had an opportunity to like AD several like feature length projects, but I haven't like directed one myself, or
Gotcha.
like produced one of my own, Uh but a lot of people, when I first started doing short films, right? And even now when I put out films, like I think what a lot of people are accustomed to are just like feature length films, right? So I want to like kind of break down the difference between like a feature length film and a short film, right? Because a lot of people have questions about that. Like, what is considered? Do you know what's considered like a feature length film and a short film?
Just off the top, maybe something over 45 minutes is a feature length film, and anything under that is a short film.
Yeah. So according to like what I looked up, typically anything under 40 minutes or less is considered a short film. And most short films typically run between like 10 to 20 minutes long. And anything that is considered a feature length film is typically considered anything 70 minutes or more. Uh, which is weird because it's that gap between the 40 and 70. So, like,
Hmm.
if you do something like that's over 40 minutes, it could technically be considered a feature length film, depending on I guess depending on the tone of it, or a short film. It's just kind of like that gray area. But yeah, like a feature length film is considered anything like 70 minutes or more. Uh, and from the definition breakdown that I have, like it shows that like short films are typically 40 minutes. I mean, or anything under 40 minutes, typically 20 minutes or less. And they tell a compact story, often one idea, like one arc, right? Where a feature length film has like multiple arcs, storylines, kind of within deeper character arcs, development, and like a broader world building, right? Um, yeah, and like it's different genres to each. So you could have like a short documentary, a short narrative, a short drama, like any genre, it goes for both a short film or a feature length film.
Exactly.
And so, for me, being a short filmmaker, like I I have multiple reasons why I like short films and why I like features. Do you watch a lot of short films yourself? Or do you like before getting into films, did you watch short films?
Yeah, I did watch a lot of short films. I can't remember what I watched, but I would really watch their films because it's similar to music videos.
Hmm.
All music videos, if you set them up the right way, they're all short films. You want to get a story in there, and then you add that vocal performance, in between. But yeah, short films, uh, the creativity of short films, where they can get so much done in like 4, 5, 6 minutes, and it looks like a feature film. But yeah, short films are where it's at if you're trying to get in and just be real creative in a short amount of time. And that pacing is just super important on short films because on feature films you can let it ride out a little bit
Yeah.
because like Tubi, they want you to have a longer film. so they can put more commercials in there. So you kind of leave some of that in there to extend your film a little bit more.
Hmm.
Whereas in short film, it's like a poem. You know, every line, every cut, every edit is very, very important.
That's true. And so like I will say, for me, when I first started like getting into filmmaking, I had remember attended a seminar. I can't even remember who the person was. And they were just talking about, like pretty much making short films and like developing it and stuff, right? And so the way they broke it down was like the difference really between like a short film and a feature length film. A lot of times it's like a feature length film, like you have like a whole world, right? Like it's just like a lifespan, or it could even be like a day, but it's like a whole just like broader sense of something, right? But a short film is like a moment in time. And so even though like some short films go over a period of time, but it's still like specifically like a moment in time. And so like for me making short films, I kind of like consider that because uh like some short films you just like for instance some of the short films that I've done, like we meet like my characters in the sense of an action that has already taken place, instead of like building and giving the background story to like what has already taken place. Like we meet them as like the action has after the ball has already started rolling. And I like that though. Like 'cause I mean I like creating worlds, but I like meeting characters in moments already, and kind of like being able to like follow them for a short period of time and see how whatever the whatever action that has happened, like what reaction that can done. And then like sometimes, uh short films, I know I've watched a lot of short films and I do it a lot with my short films and people hate it. Uh and I get a lot of, not bad stuff, but people be like, like cliffhangers, like you just it's that moment in time you just cut. So you something very dramatic can just happen and it just we never know. But like for me as a filmmaker, I like that ambiguity about it. Like leaving stuff to question for the audience to kind of like give their interpretation to what has transpired in the story, as opposed to like if it was a feature length film where I would like expand on it.
Also, also budgets and resources with feature films, man, you need so much more of that. I
That
mean, you need that with a short film. You need that with short film, but with a feature length, man, you have to get everybody in line. You have to get paperwork signed. Short films, you can just bang it out. You have the great idea, and you're creating that little vignette of that moment in time, what you're talking about, and yeah, that's I love both. I love both. You get a lot of ideas across in both, but short films like Little Phineas, it's just you can get more artistic.
hmm and like I like that you brought into like the short film, and like so that's like some of the pros for having the short film, right? Like it's a smaller budget, a lot of times it's a smaller cast. Like a lot of short films, which is why I enjoy and I produce, I don't want to say many, but I produce a lot of shorts. Is because like one, yeah, smaller budget, smaller cast, and you can shoot it in like 1 to 3 days. For the Peppermint Lady, which is a 7-part series, we shot it in like 2 days over a weekend. And other, I think like all of my short films I've either shot in like 1 day or 2 days. And so I think that just has worked out in like favor. Because like using actors and especially like in our area where there are a lot of actors in our community and locally, but like we don't live in a big hub for actors. And so you have to like where people aren't pursuing it full time and working, normal jobs. You have to like meet people where they are and be able to work with scheduling and get them when you can. So if you're able to shoot it in a day or two, like it just works. Um, and also some like things with short films is like fewer locations, tighter logistics. It's just easier to plan out. Um, and like it's just perfect to put in like different festivals and just submitting to different locations, as opposed to where like you kind of do the same thing with feature length films, but like a typical feature, right, requires like a lot of like pre-production planning,
Yes.
uh, bigger crews, longer schedules. Like you have to maintain like a consistency and continuity with the scenes, like uh for a lot of feature films, they can shoot the same scene for like multiple days. And so
Exactly.
you got to make sure like with the continuity that everything lines up. Uh
Also, in short films, if someone doesn't show up, you can just replace them like quickly.
you know what? And that has happened to me. Did I tell
Happen.
you the story about that?
Tell me.
So, I did a short film called Channel 43. It's a Twilight
Oh,
esque
yes, you did tell me about that, and it worked out for the best.
production, yes. And I shot this film in Atlanta. I drove overnight because I had something that I was doing the night before. So I drove overnight. I had set this production up where I was shooting in Atlanta with actors, right? And the day of, I make it to Atlanta 7 o'clock, call time 8 o'clock. Right when I dropped into Atlanta, I had the story centers around two actors really, a couple, a male and a female. And so my female lead calls me right before call time, and unfortunately it's like, hey, I'm in the ER, I got diagnosed with COVID, I can't make it. So I'm like, what? Like, okay, I can't do anything at this point, right? Um, and I'm in Atlanta. Like, at this time, I'm new to Atlanta. Like, I don't know a lot of people there. Uh, and I'm busy. Like, all the crew and stuff has been set by there. So I'm working with new crew, new people. I'm just coming in to shoot this short that I wrote and directed. And so in my top of my head, I'm like, you know what? All right, cool. Like, we're not gonna panic about this. Good thing is, not only am I directing this, I'm writing this film, right? So I quickly, like, it's 7:30, right? It's about a 7-page short film. I'm like, I can just quickly rewrite the short film to be a one person situation outside of a couple situation. And so I did, and when my male lead pulls up on set, shout out to Mark G. Williams.
Mark G, you did a great job, bro.
Yeah, I want to say Marcus the third, but yeah, Mark. Shout out to Mark. So when he pulls up on set, I like when I go to set, you all, I always take a printer with me. Like I keep a printer in the truck.
What?
I know, and so I had already like printed out the new script and everything. I'm like, hey, so female lead, she can't make it. We just gonna roll with this, right? And Mark is like, I really liked how the script was before. Like we can try to shoot and see if I can find a female lead. So here is the dilemma, everyone. I am not only in Atlanta for a day because we're shooting on a Sunday, and I had to be back to work the following Monday in Pensacola. And so I'm like, and I only had the location for like 12 hours. So I'm like, oh my God, like, and I want you all to like eventually watch the film. It's a very like heavily emotionally driven short film, right? And so I was like, man, I don't know if I could just find someone just randomly to like call in and bring this situation together. And so Mark is like, well, I do acting classes here. I have this girl in my class. I feel like this is a great fit for her. And so he did. And when I tell you all, she came through. She came through. Shout out to Brianna Sinclair.
Yeah, she did a really great job, bro. Man, it was. I'm glad the other actress couldn't make it. I'm sorry that she got COVID,
I
but
know. And so like it really worked out because I mean I actually feel like Bree brought something I don't know if the other person would have been able to do. And it was just like it's one of my most profound short films. And it actually won best film at Fufu Fest. So I'm excited about that. And so yeah, anyway, back to the story. that is how a instant where like yeah, you just have to kind of pivot on point with shorts, as opposed to if it was a feature film like
Oh my gosh, feature film. I say on Sacred, and then this other one I just shot. Man, if someone has to get changed out, you have to redo all the scenes. You have to bring all the actors back. You
I
have to
know.
re book that location, and then try to get that same mojo when that first scene worked well with that previous actor,
Hmm.
and then you got to redo the whole thing. Oh my gosh, oh, it's like shooting another short film again and try to reclaim that, like I said, mojo or energy that you had
Hmm.
before. It's just so tough on
I
on a feature film, like so.
I can believe that. Like it's like some stuff is just hard to create. Like even working on movies, it's just like feature film. Like the essence. Like once you like are in it and you get that essence. Like so, some directors right don't like rolling on takes until they like roll takes. So I used to be the same way. Like like if we gonna rehearse it, like don't roll on rehearsal. Like let us just rehearse it. But
Yeah,
then I started like now like let's roll rehearsal, which is like while we're rehearsing the shot, like rolling the camera so it's recording. Because sometimes like you may like we get into rehearsals before we shoot it and it's amazing, right?
yeah, exactly,
And then
exactly,
it's like, all right, let's try to recreate it, but we can't like fully recreate it to like how it actually was.
exactly. I love rolling on rehearsals. I just roll everything because you never know. You might just get that little moment or even that little look that they do when they're acting. Is great. Just like photography, bro. I'm always taking photos before we actually shot because that's the ones that they pick. When you're doing
Hmm.
photography as well, same thing.
Yeah, you have to like you just have to kind of just go with it. Um, so some other things going back to like feature length films, right? Uh, Short films you can knock it out in a day, right? Feature length films sometimes take like weeks and months, right? Um, and even longer. And the thing is like with feature length films and with movie making in general, the longer you shoot, the more money it takes, right? And so when you look at like feature length films, right? Even from an indie's perspective, with we talked about, y'all go back and listen to it. The breakdown of like budgets and like
Hmm.
what the tiers of movie making is, right? So even when you think about like indie making of a feature film, right? We'll just say, for instance, you're a DP, right? Even at the minimum, if your minimum day rate is like $500, right? And I'm doing a shoot for 12 days, that's $6,000.
Exactly.
And that's one roll, people. That's one roll. So then if you think about the DP, the gaffer, the grip, the best
Camera
boy, the
operator,
camera
first AC. Oh man,
AC, production assistants, plus the cast, and each person has their own day rate, and you do that for multiple days, like it's expensive. It really is. And
and then you got to shoot in a whole other day to try to complete that.
right. And it's not that like the the worst enemy on a film set is the clock. Like
Yes,
time is just hard. Sometimes you really have to like push and like make your days, and then sometimes you're unfortunately not able to make it due to like outside factors, the weather, sound, people being sick, whatever the case may be. And so like as days pile up, the money piles up, and if you don't have a budget to make it, what do you do? You know? And so for me, like I've I've been on film sets where that has been the case, and like with me doing short films, I feel like it's just easier for me to do. Like I can just book it out in a day.
exactly. And
Uh,
it's so much easier to pivot when in a short film. Sometimes but either way, man, it's just a big wrench in the whole process, and oh man, headaches.
I will, yeah, I get it, but like I feel like Yeah, I will say it's some headaches on with working on short films too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Uh,
And anytime you have to go out and shoot, there's always headaches, bro.
I will say, I don't know if I told you about this. I use this quote a lot when I'm talking to people about films and stuff, right? So I always you all like tell people that like filmmaking is a beautiful train wreck, right? So like you can do all the planning in the world, you can have everything set, but when you get the set, like not all times, but 70% of the time, something is not going to go as planned, right? Which is why they say, like, even with being like a director or a filmmaker, it's good to collaborate, like, because you need that collaborative effort to kind of like push through these like train wreck incidents, whether it's like a location thing or a technical thing or like acting, and just kind of like be able to like continue to like fix the track to where the train can continue to go.
Exactly, exactly. Like on what the
AI
heart
can't make that up.
like in what the heart wants, man. Man, we shot these office scenes. AC went out.
Mm,
Everybody's sweating through their clothes. You just can't account for that. All those things could go right, then you still have to deal with the actors, their emotions and how they want to be treated. I mean, on top of everything, you have to get all the technical stuff right, but then you have to deal with dealing with people.
that's true. That's true. Uh so let's see. I got some other things I want to break down here. Uh like with shorts too, right? I do feel like so I watch shorts, y'all, just cuz like for me doing short films and like making short films, I really want to like kind of like jump in and get into like the feel of it. And I'm telling you, like some short films will like it's crazy like how and people have mentioned it to me too, from just being a filmmaker, like how you can really take a short and jam pack a lot into it, right? Cause like for instance, you've done short films, you've worked on short films too. Like you can really take like a whole concept just because it's a short film. People don't sleep on it because a lot can happen in 5 or even 5 minutes or so, right? But I think that's like for me as a filmmaker, I like doing short films a little bit too for that challenge of like being able to like convey a whole concept within a brief amount of time. And when I said short films with you, I thought about the two short films that you did too, Yabui. Uh, the moment in time that conveyed like a whole uh timepiece within it. Is that the name of the movie? Moment in
Oh,
Time?
across in time.
Across in
Across in
Time. I'm
time.
like, I know this don't sound right. Across in Time.
You know who did great in across in time?
Who?
The person in our comments right there.
Shout out to Sade. Okay. Yes, Sade did. She did really good. And she really brought like a very good emotional depth to her character as well. No spoilers. Uh, so no. Also, Sade did good in the little short that I did too, which
She
was
does
just a
fire. She
teaser
does a
for.
lot. She did great in Sacred.
She did.
Man, she be killing it.
She's
She be
you
killing it.
know, Sade set the tone for Sacred because she was in the opening
Oh
scene.
yeah, yeah, I remember that. Okay, okay, oh, yeah, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so shout out to Carell, or as we know, Sade. But
And she has
no,
great music as well.
yeah, y'all go listen to that. Run that up on Apple Music.
Boom, boom, boom.
Uh, but no, yeah, just really just trying to like jam pack and strategically tell a story in a short film and convey a message, right? So like for me, making a short film, right? Because I've wrote like I will like let's talk about doing it from a script, right? So for me, writing a feature length script, because I wrote several feature length scripts and I wrote several short film scripts, right? But for me, from a script standpoint, right, I will say I approach them differently, right? So for me, doing a short film script, I go based off of the reaction that I'm trying to get, right? Or like the theme that I'm trying to get. So more so, like for instance, like or an emotion that I'm trying to convey, right? Like I just use an example. I'm doing the Peppermint Lady, which is a series of shorts. Like I wanted to convey a sense of fear. And so I was like, how can I convey a sense of fear in a small amount of time around a, a item that people use every day, or peppermints, whatever. And so that was a challenge in trying to like make that and break that down. So like but the end goal was like how I wanted the emotion that I wanted taken out of it. And then even when I think about another short film, which you all can go back and watch on YouTube, it's called 6 Feet from the Gun on YouTube. 6 Feet from the Gun. Go check that out. I'm just plugging myself in, shameless plugs, right? Um, but even that movie is kind of centered around like protesting and stuff. And like I wanted to convey the sense of like the two different sides. Like you are you for something or are you against it? And so I kind of like use that those kind of things to like for me personally, everyone's different uh to write. Um However, though, with like a feature length film, right? I have two will say two feature length films in the pocket. Uh I had like a broader sense. I had like a theme, like all right, like they are centered around like a actual theme, and from that I was able to like, all right, how can I break this down into like the 3 acts? And we'll talk more about that, but like movies, a lot of feature length movies are broken down into like the 3 act structure, where you have like your first act, which kind of like introduces the story, you kind of set the tone of the world. The second act, where like things kind of escalate, you have your climax and stuff, and then the third act, where you're still kind of like coming out the climax of like the incident that happened and kind of like leading into the resolution. So like looking at that, really trying to break that down, like that is what allows feature length films to have so much more like depth and like a lot of like you might have your main storyline character where like all right, the story centered around Jared, character named Jared. All right, so Jared is, I don't know, trying to handle his situation, but like it may be like a B storyline centered around Mary. You have like your different storylines, your different character arcs, and you just be able to like really build on the different like character development. But a feature length offers so much more time to build that. Where if we were to just take a concept from a feature length and make a short of it, uh, we just have like Jared and his in the initial thing, and just like we already catch him in Act 2.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And then you have those episodics like Ozark, where
Yeah.
they reoccur and they come back, and then they have like hours and hours and hours and hours to get that character's background throughout the story. So
Yeah, I mean, when I'm glad you said that too, because that's a cool point to bring. Like episodes, especially now with how they're made, from the narrative standpoint, the tone is really like extended feature length movies. Where you really are able to like elongate the story and build and flesh things out and introduce new plots and kind of take it from there.
exactly. For Power has been kind of
So
having recurring themes,
I've been
and
sleep
I
on
kind of stopped
Power.
watching.
I'm like behind. Like I'm behind. What's it season 5 now? I think I love
I'm not sure,
I stopped on like season
but Ozark from beginning to end, that's just a great show. Love Ozark. All the stuff that's on Apple TV is just great. Dope Thief. I think you talked about that before. That Neighbors show is pretty good. Severance. I don't know, everything on Apple TV is banging. And on May 15th, Southern Village will also be banging on Apple TV. Pre-orders in. Sorry.
so I was doing some research here and I want to bring this up because I think this is pretty cool to know, right? So even with short films, right? Short films, a lot of movies were a lot of feature length movies were introduced from the concept of a short film, right?
Yeah.
So like so a lot of shorts that were just out that were like made and put into like festivals and stuff uh caught the attention of producers, and they decided to hit up the filmmakers and expound and like make, you know, what was a short film like a feature length film. And so some examples of like movies that were short films that like were turned into feature length films was like Whiplash. Did you ever see
Oh,
Whiplash?
I love Whiplash. The editing,
Yeah, it's
the
so
editing on
good.
Whiplash, and oh my gosh, yeah, I seen the short of it, and then the actual
And
Whiplash. One of
and
my
it's
favorite
similar
movies.
too. Yeah.
One of my favorite movies, Whiplash. Everybody has to see that.
Yeah, so Whiplash was like made from a short the horror film Lights Out. I
I
don't know
haven't
if you
seen
saw
that
that
one.
one. So yeah, it was first a YouTube film, and it started off as a viral 3 minute. It was only a 3 minute short film, but it went viral, and they eventually made it into a horror movie. So this one kind of caught me off guard, like caught me not off guard, but to surprise. Saw, you know the movie Saw?
Oh, that was a short film.
That was I did not know that was a short film.
Now they
Uh,
got a whole franchise now.
yes,
They didn't make Sinners into a franchise. They can go into all those
they
stories.
could.
I did see somewhere on YouTube, but it was probably just fake news.
What talking about what?
A franchise for
Oh
Sinners.
yeah, that was yeah, it was
It's fake
fake.
news, right? Okay,
It was
okay.
yeah. I seen the post too, but I would not be opposed like if they did like do like a little small type. And you do like a series about it, you know, like each episode could just be like a different.
Or they could just do the whole time in the '90s. That would be dope.
Yeah, no spoilers. Uh, it was good. And then like let me see some other movies that were short films was Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
It was, and then let's see, Bottle Rocket. I'm not sure what that is, but it was
I think I've
made
heard
by
of that,
Wes
but I
Anderson.
don't.
So I mean, Wes Anderson's uh, pretty big. And then the Babadook. So I will say, let me look it up. And then you know, from the animated standpoint, this guy named Matthew Cherry, he did this short film called Hair Love, and it won Best Oscar. Uh, Probably like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Time escapes me due to the pandemic, but eventually like they made like a series about it on HBO. But I'm also looking for it's this movie, you all, that I watched personally. I saw the short film for it, and the short film for it, this movie was so good. It stars well, nobody famous is in the short film, but they redid the movie. And the movie stars Trevante Rhodes. You know who Trevante Rhodes is?
I do not.
So Trevante Rhodes, he is the actor from Moonlight. You seen Moonlight?
No. Moonlight, the vampire movie?
No, Moonlight, the movie about the guy, the boy turning. I want like yeah, Moonlight. It was directed by Barry Jenkins.
I have to watch that
I'm
one.
gonna look. You probably seen it, like the trailer for it. Moonlight. No.
I have to see it, bro.
All right, it's a
I'm
good movie.
bad.
It won best movie at the Oscars too. Anyway,
Oh, best
uh,
movie. Okay.
so
I knew.
all right, so Trevante Rose, right?
Mhm.
He played Mike Tyson in the Hulu series.
Okay, okay, okay.
So we don't, you know who I'm talking about now? No.
I know the person.
Yeah. So uh, he starred in this movie. Y'all go check it out on Hulu. It's called Bruiser, like a bruise, but it's called Bruiser. And it's directed by this guy named Miles Warren, right? And so Miles Warren made this short film by the same name called Bruiser. And when I tell you, man, this short film was so good. Like I
Mhm.
saw it by happenstance, just like roaming through some like short films on Vimeo. And eventually like Hulu picked it up and they made it into a feature length movie. And the actual thing is, I found out later on that the movie was shot like in Mobile.
Oh,
Yeah. And so, well, like outside Mobile, Gulf Shore, that it was shot in the Gulf Coast. And so, because I knew some people who worked on it, shout out to them. But yeah, so definitely that's another movie, that was a short film that they made a feature. So basically, if you out here making short films, y'all put your stuff out there because you could easily get it out there, get it into the right eyes of the right person, and hey, they may want to hit you up and be like, hey, we got this $3 million deal. You just
exactly.
never know.
Or even make a spec about the Fresh Prince and get it rebooted.
Yes, I mean I'm glad you brought that up. That's a Morgan, what's the guy's name? Morgan Cooper. He that's exactly what he did. He made like the short film about Fresh Prince, and it just like it took off. And
Yeah,
his short was good.
that was real good. I like that take on it. That little dark take. I
Yeah.
love it.
And do you watch Bel Air?
I watched the first season.
Hmm.
I haven't.
I
I do
mean,
like Coco Jones though.
yeah, she's out here killing it. Uh, but no, like how he introduced a whole new concept, and how it went viral, and it got into the right people's eyes, and that's what I'm saying. Like you don't know, and I strongly feel uh that in the times that we live in, anything is possible, right? Because like the internet connects us all. Like you don't necessarily. I say this like every episode, y'all. You don't have to be in Hollywood to make it to Hollywood. And a lot of times, like I've been watching interviews with people, uh, who are in the industry, myself, and just different, yeah, just different interviews. Cause like the question that we all want to know is, how do you make it to Hollywood? Like, how do you make it to be in the actual film industry, right? And so, I've watched like several different people, directors, filmmakers, actors, or whatnot, right? And like all of their answers kind of like coincide with one another, and they typically say like, "Hey, just keep doing it, be consistent, do your work. Like you searching for Hollywood, but like Hollywood will find you." And
Exactly.
I think like even when you brought up Morgan Cooper, that's a perfect instance. Like he probably just got with his friends. He had a dope concept. He got with
Hmm.
people he knew. He raised a little budget because he had to have a little budget behind that, and he just put his art out there, and he like trusted it with like the world to just receive it, and it did, and look where it led him. And so I say that to hopefully inspire somebody while I inspire myself. Uh, yeah, make
So
more.
yeah, Maverick, Jermaine, everybody else making movies. The group that's making that movie with Carell.
Hmm.
You guys need to keep pushing content, work on your craft. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting, bro.
uh,
Man, I've been doing this forever.
I know.
I just try to keep pushing.
That's
I just need to get on my writing pen because, bro, you write, you do everything. You do from bottom to the top, top to bottom. You're gonna get it, bro. You got your friends over there in Sinners.
oh yeah.
Jeff, how did he feel when he saw his name on those credits? Did you
Hey,
talk to him?
I did. He called me. He had an opportunity to go to an earlier screening of it, and so
Mm?
yeah, and
How about
so
a plus one or two? Oh my gosh.
yeah, he took his wife with him. I don't know if he took his entire family, but no, he was ecstatic about it, as he should be.
Shout
Yeah,
out to Jeff.
shout out to Jeff, Dr. J. But no, it is like I know for myself, even working on major studio projects and like or even smaller projects, it's just always good just to see your name, like to just
Yeah.
just it's just something about seeing your name in the credits, whether it be a short or whatever it is. Like I don't know, it's not I wouldn't say like a notoriety, which it is though. But just like a feeling like all right, like I my talents or whatever I did have contributed to like this bigger picture. And I feel like,
You're just part of that process, bro. Even when
yeah,
doing your short film, just see your name and just see everybody. Why? Because when you watch your movie presented, I'm not even watching the film. I'm watching to reaction, and you really want to affect those people in the audience
hmm,
with your work that you did. All that process, that time, just dealing with everything, and then finally completing that final edit. Nothing better than that.
that's true. That's true. Uh, which is why, like, for the premieres that I've had for projects, like, I always choose to sit in the back. Like, I don't like, even though a lot of people be like, "What, you should sit, front row and center," you know. No, I just let me be in the back. Cause I love, like, especially if it's a project that I worked on, whether it have been like a short film or a feature length film. Like, I, by the time it comes out, right, and I'm sure, like Yabu, you know for sure. Like, by the
And you've
time,
seen the movie like 1,000 times
yeah,
through and through.
I've seen it so many times, and then like I, which is funny because like I watch a lot of interviews with a lot of people that I admire in the industry, and a lot of people be like, yeah, I don't watch the movie after it comes out, or, and I used to think that was the craziest thing. Like, what do you mean you don't watch? Like, you don't watch a TV show that like. I remember like Viola Davis, like, yeah, I've not watched anything that I've done. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you're an incredible actress, and I thought that was the craziest thing. Which, I mean, I still think that's crazy, but like even from like a filmmaker's like perspective, like especially a director's perspective, like a lot of directors like, yeah, like I don't watch it. But by time, I can't remember who quoted, maybe it was Ryan Coogler from an earlier interview before Sinners. But whatever the director, whoever the director was just like, yeah, by time like the movie comes out, like I've watched it so many times, like I wrote it, like I've seen it in my head, I've seen it when we were filming it. Like, I've spent countless hours in the edit sessions. Like, I've seen it enough. I don't care to see it anymore. And so for me, I'm not quite that way personally. Like, I go back and watch my films for entertainment.
Oh
Uh
yeah, exactly.
but like when it's like in a public space and it's being presented at a premiere or at a film festival, I choose to not watch the film, but more so the reaction.
Exactly. I think right after the final edit and then presenting it, I don't like to watch it anymore because I've watched it a million times. But reflecting, going back like a month or two, a
Hmm.
year or two, I'm like, man, really did that.
So I'm.
Eh,
Oh no, finish.
No, and then
I
and
got
then
excited.
and then you're like, man, I wish I could have did this here, but we didn't do that because of this or that. So I like reflecting later in time. It's just immediately after and then doing that presentation. Oh my gosh, I don't want to watch it anymore.
I follow you. So I got excited. I got a question for you. So like when you go back and look at your work, right? Um, do you have moments where maybe when you were making the short or the feature, right? Uh, and you just, I want to say like moments where you beat yourself up, but you're like, man, like, especially like I know for stuff that I shoot, I feel certain ways about stuff like, man, like I wish I would have did this, or I wish I would have did that, or like, especially like being a DP and the editor, and sometimes editing projects that I've shot, like I just feel kind of hard on myself a little bit. But then, like, after I have that moment to like release the project and come back to it, I'm watching it and like have moments where I'm like, you know what? Like, I was hard on myself right here, but in actuality, this looks good. Like, you
Yeah,
feel
exactly.
better about it once, like, you might be hard on yourself initially, but when you go back to basically what I'm asking, like, when you go back and watch it, do you give yourself the grace and be like, oh man, like, what I thought was like not that good is actually like pretty decent?
Yeah, because when you're watching it at first, you're really picking it apart. You're really attacking it from like a million sides. But then, right, if you let time pass, you're actually like an audience member. You're actually just watching it for what it's worth and not thinking about, yeah, we could have did this. We're out of daylight here. Well, I hear that sound in the background, but I couldn't take it out or any little thing like that. But having that time to reflect, yeah, I'm less beating on myself than I was right after it.
I get that. That's how I was about what film was it? Marry Me Yesterday, actually. A film that Jeff we mentioned. Jeff wrote. Y'all can watch this short film on YouTube too. Marry Me Yesterday is a good film. But time, bro. I go back and going back to talk about time. Time just got a little bit from us because we were having to. Uh, we just had to figure out some. We had some location changes come up last minute, and we had to kind of like pivot. So in the story, without giving away spoilers, a guy's getting ready to propose to his girlfriend, and the proposal was supposed to take place during the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
However, time escaped us, so he didn't actually propose to her till like nighttime. And so I was like, man, how is this gonna make sense? Like with us trying to like it's supposed to happen like directly after such and such, which happened during the daytime, but when we see him again, it's nighttime. Uh, but we put it together, and it flows well to where
Yeah, it came out great, bro.
you don't
So
even think about it. And like for me, just in my head, kind of like beating myself up over like the technicalities of it all. I was just like people are gonna pick this apart, and nobody mentioned it after it came out. And then
exactly,
after I went back and watched it, like after I like put it down and came back and picked it up, I was like, yeah, like you said, watching it from an audience standpoint, and I was like, this is actually like I knew it was good, but this is actually good, you know?
exactly, and that's why I love working on short films. It's just that ability to pivot, and
Mhm.
then being like a DP or a camera operator, you have more input on the film on a short film. Like on a feature film, it's pretty much laid out, and you just have to execute. But on short films, you really have, uh, like I said, that you can make that input on those pivots because you're always
Mhm.
pivoting on short films
That's true.
because man, on it's clinical. We had the location, but it was full of snakes and animals, so we had to change to a different location that didn't have doorknobs, but we made it work.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I'm scared of snakes.
Yeah,
You
the
don't
other
got to go into
spot.
detail, but I'm just like scared of that. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind shooting there, but Jermaine was worried about the snakes and the other. I think they had pit bull. They had a lot of animals in there. I didn't mind doing it, but he was just worried for the actors.
Yeah. So, uh,
No AC.
hey,
Every set, no
I
AC.
will say,
In Florida in the summer.
hey, a lot of times when I'm filming, we cut the AC off
Oh yeah,
because
for the sound.
sound. Yeah, I mean, so whether it had AC in it or not, you just unfortunately have to kind of push through and suffer. Uh, but you got to just figure out your locations. Locations are hard, you all. Which I will say, with going back to like making feature films and indie films, right? I mean, feature films or short films, right? So a lot of people and myself, I take that advice too. Is like locations have a price to them as well, right? So even though like earlier in the conversation tonight we talked about like how shooting uh feature length films gets more expensive because you have to like pay for talent, casting, and crew. But a lot of people don't know that you have to pay for locations as well. However, here on the Gulf Coast, like a lot of times we're fortunate. We have a lot of businesses that will work with you. Um, but I mean, other places you have to get permits. Even here, so you have to get permits somewhere like for locations. You have to pay for people to like use their houses. Like a lot of l- locations have fees attached to them. So the more you're shooting at a location, the more expensive it is. So like basically, it's expensive to make a featureless film. That's what I'm summarizing up, and I hope you're taking from that. But it's worth it. We see some of our greatest filmmakers talk about like the lengths that they went to get their films made, and I think like having that grit as a filmmaker to get it done uh, is what really also makes you pour more into the film because you work hard for something, you pour more into it. You know, you really like give it your all because it's so much on the line, and so I feel that way with just like I'm using feature length films as an example, but I feel like even with short films, some short films are expensive to make.
Oh
I've seen
yeah.
some like really expensive short films, and you know, uh, fortunately myself, I have been able to shoot more passion projects, uh, specific short films where people have volunteered their time and their services to and their locations to help with bringing the vision to life. But however, other locations, other industries, other regions, you really have to like fork out and pay money. And it gets expensive because I worked on several shorts in Atlanta, and the last short film I worked at, like even we shot the scene downtown, and we had to get and pay for a permit to shoot like in the middle of a downtown area. It was outside of
Wow.
Atlanta, but like here we don't think about that. You know, we just we just take our camera and go. But like s- some locations, you have to really like budget that into the actual
Exactly.
plan.
And what you were talking about earlier, the time is just the biggest constraint, bro. Just everybody will let you shoot at their location, and they're all happy and everything. But you start going 2-3 hours over, then they're like, "Oh, you guys need to wrap this up. You need to wrap this up."
Hmm.
You're not even halfway done with what you're trying to accomplish. That time is just such constraint. And then you have the sun going
I
down. Then you have
know
to adjust the lights, and then everything looks different.
so
There's
much,
just so much. Yeah,
and then
just so
like
much.
oh no, even with that, I'm thinking like outside factors too. Like if you shooting in the neighborhood, if it's like noise from the outside with like the neighbors and like it's so many different factors that affect overall filmmaking. And
And you being the filmmaker, you being the person actually shooting it, and then you're thinking in the edit, oh my gosh, I left the refrigerator on, I left the AC on, the dog's barking outside. You know, you got the cars whizzing by. Like in What the Heart Wants, there's like a million cars just whizzing by, and then we're like editing, like you hear this tone of sound, and then you cut to here, then you're in the middle of a car, like
hmm
halfway going through, and you have to fix that sound and the edit, or you have to choose a whole different take or something, you know? And it was a great take. Then you have this going by.
terrible. That happened with me with editing the Peppermint Lady, because like the second half and a lot of the episodes take place outside, and it was like it like I just remember because it's recent when me just editing it. I had some really good takes, and it was just like right in the middle of it, like.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, that's sacred. That's sacred. Outside of Fam Ties,
Oh yeah.
shooting with Eric Baker,
Mm-hmm.
and in that car, they still
Oh
they
yeah.
had
Oh
they had the
yeah.
street sweeper coming by.
Oh yes. We had to wait. We had to pause
Yeah,
production.
exactly. We
Yeah.
had to stop there and just look at each other for like 45 minutes for the street sweeper to clear out, so we could actually finish that little scene at night. It was like 11, 12 at night.
I so funny story. Even like so those are outside factors, right? But even inside factors that I recently within the last year shot a short called The Elevator Pitch, and the entire film takes place within the elevator. Um
Oh Lord.
and so like initially shout out to Chad.
We're talking about Chad Graham's here.
Yeah,
Oh, shout out to the
shout
boy.
out to Chad. But initially the elevator we were going to use was going to be uh I want
Did
to
you shoot
say
this at his hotel? Okay, go ahead.
Uh, and so we gorilla filmed this, but yeah. So I was going to this location and we were shooting in this elevator, and apparently we were going on what we thought was going to be a dead night where no
Mm-mm.
uh
There's
n-
never a
n-
dead night, bro.
no
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. My bad.
no, we had in
I mean,
our
just in
minds.
general, any place you go, like when you're shooting, like when I do. Sorry to interrupt. When
No,
I
you're
shoot
good.
prom photos at that museum across from the park, when I'm not shooting, no one rides through there. As soon as like, hey, let's shoot in the middle of the street, man, we're stopping up all our traffic and we're getting in trouble. Anyways, go ahead.
Oh no. And so like you like, hey, come on this night, like I got it cleared, like you all can use it. Nobody comes and use this elevator this night, right? So we cool. We pop up. We there. We get ready to scene. And like even though the whole short takes place in the elevator, it's another. I like emotional driven stuff, y'all. So like I be taking the characters through there, and so it was just good, right? And so it was some really like intense scenes. Shout out to Tilden and Eleanor. Love y'all. But they like Tilden is in the middle of a lot of these scenes, and he's just like trembling, just like so deep in the scene, and I'm just like filming it, right? And in the heart of the scene, it'd be like ding, the elevator door will open. And I was like, ding, and it just kept happening. And so we just had to like uh just kept kind of like resetting. And then another thing that I did not know, which you just don't think about these things, right? Uh, is the elevator once when shooting in the elevator, especially a live elevator, is after the elevator is not in use for a long time, the lights and the power goes off within the elevator. So we learned that early on. Was like we were shooting a good scene. The elevator would stop. We were like, okay, we got like we good, like it's set. And then the whole power would just shut off in the elevator.
Man.
And so, we had to pivot and bring in some outside lights and kind of like cheat out. Like we got some like foil and covered the lights and then put it like artificial lights and then I kind of like controlled it from there.
So did
Uh
you use both lighting situations in the edit?
hmm
Okay.
So it worked out because uh in the short film the elevator breaks down. And so one of the times when the light shut off of the actual elevator, it just ironically worked out at the moment in the story where
Oh, that's dope. Serendipity, bro.
yeah,
That's
where
some,
it was supposed to like shut down. And so that's actually I think the take I used within the short film. But yeah, it's just you don't factor those things in when making short films or feature length films. And so uh but short films you have more. I'm not gonna say you more like because sometimes you don't have time. You just have to just kind of go with the flow and just make it work.
you make it work, bro. So when is that one fit online or anything?
So that one is not online at the moment. I hope to have it's done. It's just not online at the moment. Hopefully it will be online sooner than later.
I do have my glasses on because I'm getting old. I can't read the little numbers on the cameras to make sure they don't shut off on accident.
Oh no, this is
Now I
good.
can see everything. This is how I shoot too. I'm normally blurry. I kind of guess. I'm glad Sony has great autofocus.
Sony does have great autofocus. Shout out to Sony because both of us in the room shoot with it. Also, you all, as we come to a close on things, make art. Just make like trust your vision, make art. I will say for myself as an independent filmmaker, right? And I'm glad, I'm be kind of like transparent here and vulnerable, right? So we are you, are you doing what I think you're doing?
Yes. Why you're
All right, no, but like while we talk about making short films and feature length films, right? So like for myself, I say that like I make a lot of short films, and reasons why I make short films is because it's less money, sometimes no money at all. I'm able to like pull people a lot of times friends, but I work with a lot of people. I've made more friends than worked with friends from filmmaking. A lot of people who I make films with, they came on as strangers, and now like they're my 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 ride or dies. I love them all, but really, with making short films, just write something short. You don't have to put too much pressure with it. It doesn't have to be long. It could be about anything. You all can use your cameras. You can use a short film. You can make a use your the greatest tool a filmmaker has these days is their phone. And just make something. Don't feel pressured uh not to. And if you can't make a feature length film, make a short film and put it out there and like use it to hopefully generate enough buzz or budget to make a feature length film. A lot of short films that people do like that are called proof of concept films. I myself personally have made a couple proof of concept films and use that to like push people to want to support and pour into you to make your feature length film. Um, Me, I said it earlier, I got like a couple feature length film scripts that are incredible uh in the most humble way spoken that I hope to tackle soon. But like I feel like as a filmmaker, and I feel like a lot of filmmakers run into this too, is like you want to make something, but you financially aren't at a standpoint to where you can do it right. So, because I ask people like, or I don't ask people, I get people ask me all the time, especially like since I made several short films. Like, all right, oh, you make so many short films. Like, when are you finally gonna make a feature length film?
booming the shot?
Boom in the shot. And I like, I'm with you there. I have made several. I won't say a lot because I make several short films. One out of enjoyment, and with me too, not going to film school, I made a lot of short films because making shorts was my school. That's how I taught.
Exactly.
That's how I taught myself. Uh, but with that being said, a lot of people do, approach me and be like, "Hey, you should make a feature length film, right?" But making a feature length film takes money. And even on the standpoint of saying, okay, you have people who come in and volunteer their time and their services to make a film, right? At the bare minimum. So, I'm using family, friends, resources, right? It still takes money because although people may be dedicating their talents and services to the production, you got to feed people that take
Yes,
money.
craft. $100 times 10 days of shooting.
Yes, you got to feed people.
That's a
And
thousand
then,
dollars
yeah,
just for food.
and I'm just saying, like, filmmaking is 12-hour days. That's a typical film hour day. And so that's 3 meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For
Man, who's crafted in 3 meals, bro? Man, I made it when I have 3 crafts
yeah, I mean,
in a shooting day. I've made it, bro.
yeah,
If I can get 3 full meals,
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, but you gotta like feed people. You gotta have like outside stuff. You gotta pay for props. Like, even a non-budget film, excuse me, even a no to low budget film still has funding that is needed, and that's from a short film to a feature length film. And so
and just tell us again the budget on a previous episode for a low budget film, considered low budget. What was that number again
so hold on.
for a low
I
budget
believe it was
film
under 3 mil.
under 3 million?
But let me verify that for you.
And this is not even marketing budget. Just it's just to get this thing filmed and edited.
All right, so that was according to that. Um, a ultra low budget is $300,000. A low budget film is 300 to $700,000.
See, and people be cracking on those Tubi movies,
I know, like
and their
Tubi,
budget's like 50,000 at
right?
bare minimum. You
But
can't put
you
special effects in there
right,
and try to reshoot for continuity. It's so tough, bro.
like people talk about Tubi movies, y'all, and but like I can't even talk about Tubi movies because these people took what they had and they made something. And like every time I see a film, whether I agree if it's good or not, I think about it from like a filmmaker's process of like making a film because they out here doing it, you know. So
Exactly.
like I'm out here doing it, they out here doing it. If you do something and you put it out there and you make it happen, like what can I say? You did it, you know.
Yeah, I will never say somebody's movie is trash. I try to learn from good movies,
Oh no, if it's
bad
trash,
movies.
if it's trash, it's trash.
I know, but
But
they've actually
I'm just
got
talking. I'm just
people
talking.
together. They've got the money together. They put the production together. I mean, there are like
No,
artistically trash movies,
but no.
I'm just saying the fact that they created that project and
Mhm.
put it out there for people to see. I think people should just get out of their fears and just go and do it. You know, don't be scared
Just
and
do it.
just do it.
Yeah, that's why
You
I tell
know?
people just do it. Cause I mean, like, not everything you make is gonna be great. You know, even some of the greatest make some of the worst films, and that's why I said like people like I the fact that like you took the initiative, you had a vision, you followed through with it, whether it went the way you wanted or not, like, and you did it. That speaks volumes more than anything. And so I'm telling you all listening or watching the podcast as it's taking place or has taken place, like trust yourself, trust your vision. If you don't have a team, do what you can. Use family. A lot of projects I started off making, I use family friends, and you just continue to create until you get it the way you want it. You know,
And work on your craft. Keep doing it. Study.
Yeah,
YouTube is such a great.
YouTube University has taught
Yes,
me.
that's all I learned is on YouTube and just doing lots and lots of millions of music videos. If you want to become a DP or a cinematographer, do music videos. That's gonna help you to do these short films. To pivot, have no budget, no location. No one wants to show up to for to shoot the music video. You have a song, a love song that involves like a lady. You have to do the music video without a lady. You know, there's just music videos are the
Can,
best way to learn
can you teach me how to?
cinematography.
Can you teach me how to shoot a music video?
Bro, you got that, man. You just, you know, with music videos, there's no preparation. There's no pre storyboards. Hey, let's just go out and do it and pivot, pivot. Serendipity. Then you got your music video. That's it.
I'm gonna shoot a music video one day, y'all, and we gonna show it on the podcast.
No, we got these rap songs we made on Suno about each other, bro. I
You
told
did,
you
you did.
we gotta make these music videos and we'll display next week. Shoot my music video, I'll shoot your music video.
All right, y'all hold us to that. It's coming soon. But with that being said, this has been, I think this has been a really good conversation. Seriously, um, I'll do. Oh, Sade said I can practice on her.
Yeah, you can do her music
Yeah,
videos, bro.
I got you,
She got a
Sade.
lot of great music to shoot with.
So I do want to ask you one question before we wrap. Uh, what is your biggest, what you working on? And we talked about it, but like I want to ask you just in general, just to reiterate, and get your perspective one more last time. Like you've you've worked on shorts, you've worked on feature length films, right? So the people know I prefer short films as of right now. But like you, what do you prefer to work on? Shorts or features?
Because I've done so many music videos like by myself. I just like the camaraderie of a full feature. Get the whole team there, even though you know being the director or being the cinematographer, you're doing like all the work. You have someone there to carry your C stand. You have other people to talk with and go through the process with you. That's why I like doing. I mean, you do with short films,
Mm-hmm.
but with like feature films, you have a more of a team. So I do like that process a lot more, and there's just so much I don't have to do by myself physically, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I got these bad hips, bro. So it's tough.
Yeah, I shout out to Willow in the comment section.
Willow.
You can practice your music videos on me, Calvo. I got you, Sade. Corral. Uh, but I will say for me too, uh, you made me think about something, you boo, when you said that. Um, for me, one thing that I really do like it's probably like I wouldn't say the number one thing, but one of the top things I really do enjoy more about working on features than short films is like being able to build relationships. I feel
Yes,
like a lot of times, like when I'm working on short films, even with like bringing in crew, like because I've worked with like crew people on short films that I didn't know that just came out and worked. Um, but it's just like a 1 day, 2 day thing. So like we just work and it's nothing. As opposed to like feature length films that happen over a period of time, you in the trenches with the same people every day. And
exactly.
so like you get to like literally like learn people and build relationships. And even with us, like we didn't know each other till
Yeah, exactly.
we didn't meet till we worked on Sacred.
I was heard about Mr.
And I
Calvo
heard about
and his
Yabui.
talent, but but yeah, feature films is where you get to meet people and the camaraderie, and then there's just a lot less on you. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
just I can compartmentalize and just do my job. Just focus on like doing a Southern Village. I could just focus on setting these lights up,
Mm-hmm.
make sure the sound's straight, and then just make sure my everything's up to spec on my camera and getting the right shots and angles, you know. And then with the short film, you gotta be like the director. You gotta make sure these people are showing up, doing all the administrative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Administrative stuff. It's just tough, and you do that all the time. I don't know how you do it, bro, but because you're so great at preparation,
Oh
you got
yeah.
it all lined up for you. You know,
Hey,
me and
pre-production,
Jermaine
don't
doing
sleep on
is
that.
clinical or across in time. We were just, all right, bro, we're here. All right, let's look. Boom. I want you to do this, do that, and then I like having that effect on the end product of that film.
Mm-hmm.
But
The film came out good.
yeah, it did come out good. A million pivots and the great acting by like Sade and everybody else
Mm-hmm.
was on there. But yeah,
But yeah, y'all, I be doing the thing in pre-production. I just have to go into it with a plan. I just, I used to sleep very hard on pre-production, and then I tackled some projects, and I realized I needed it, and then yeah, just added that in there. Yeah, I don't sleep on pre-production because that's where you actually make the film at. But you got people who, and it's personal. Everybody has their own tactic or way of doing stuff. So essentially, find what does and works well for you. That worked well for me. Yabui got his method. It works well for him.
you know what? I do need pre-production in my life. I, I need to be
I
more
don't know, bro.
prepared in
You
doing
you, you make great
things
stuff just on the spot. I just have to have a plan in place.
because like music videos, bro. If you do like music videos,
But I mean, that's what.
nobody.
But see, like we talked about it. Like even so, just a minute ago, just being consistent and doing it. Like for you, you shoot music videos good and like effortlessly, right? Which is why like people just hit you because they know like if I go to your booty, I'm gonna get a good music video. But you've been doing it for years. You've been doing so like. Can you give an estimate of how many music videos you shot?
Probably Probably a few hundreds, maybe. I mean, just with like Jay Ski, there's like 30 videos. Big Bone, 20 videos. That's 50 on 2 people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying all types of music videos, not just straight music videos, but like little promos and little.
I mean, yeah, like you've done that.
Just bringing out my camera and shooting them. I'm including those as well. But still,
Yeah, like, but the more you do it, like it's second nature, you know. Like you just got that talent to where, like, for me, I guess like the projects that I work on are roughly the same but different, you know. So like I have to like have a plan for it. But like in your line of work, like you've became a guru at it that it just you don't have to think about it. You just got it, you know.
oh yeah, the 10,000 hours, bro. 10,000 hours. That really big difference.
Oh, I see we got some more comments. Theo, yo, good to see you, man.
Jermaine J. Williams.
Shout out to y'all. What's up, Jermaine? Sade said pre-production works well for planners. Yeah. And then I think like also for me with pre-production, right? And especially from like a director standpoint, it helps me to convey what I want, like vision, you know, the mood, the setting, the shots, the storyboard. Like I can like the script. The script is everyone can read the same script and interpret it so many different ways. So like with me being able to like have it lined up and being able to talk to different people in different positions so we can all be on the same accord, like that just kind of like it helps me, you know.
Yeah, and it does, and it shows in your work. Shows in your work, bro.
I appreciate that.
I think I just have to work on my communication skills. So I just tell them, all right, look this way, and just say that line. Because I already know in my head how I'm going to edit it. So as long as they nail that, I feel I don't have to explain it to them. But hey,
that's good. I allow people who have worked with me on like for sure shorts and stuff. I'm a hard ass on set sometimes. But like I'm a visionary. I know what I want. And so
because you wrote it, bro.
But
you
not,
want them
like even the stuff that I've done that I haven't wrote, like I just like in my head, like I know what I want. And then with working with actors, right? I know the potential that
roll eye. Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just playing. I know like the potential that like the people who are in the respective roles of the characters or talent that they can have, you know. And it takes that's what I'm here. I'm here to direct you to your full potential or as close as we can get it. And so yeah. Wait, your mic.
A lot of times you have to edit the acting good. Or you have to get their acting right in editing. Sometimes their pace is off, the breaths are off. Sometimes you have to just use their vocal, their face is off. That's why I do a lot of cuts because your face looks off. So that's why I did that edit to the other actor and got their reaction because you didn't deliver it right. Not talk to anybody on this chat here, but just anybody in the world. That's why sometimes we edit and like, oh, how come my face is not showing on the movie? You weren't acting right, but you sounded okay. So that's why I'm using reactions instead of your face delivering that line. Boom in the shot.
Boom in the shot. Well, on that note, make more shorts, make more films, you all. It's a lot of apps out here. Everybody's looking for content. Let your content be the next one. Let your movie be the movie that we all go see and support. Also, support each other. Also, while we're coming to the end of this podcast, shameless plug. You all be sure to come out on May the 31st to Gulf Coast Culture Fest.
They not like us. They not like us.
May 31st,
May
2025.
2025.
Seville Square,
Seville
10 to
Square.
6, free admission.
Downtown Pensacola. So Gulf Coast Culture Fest, if you all aren't aware or familiar with this festival, is a festival that takes place downtown Pensacola at Seville Square Park. It is a two-part festival. The first half of the festival goes from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It will be filled with a lot of live entertainment, various forms of live entertainment, everything from uh, jazz bands, rock bands, Okinawa Japanese dancers, belly dancers, orchestra. It's just a very eclectic lineup. And then also we have vendors, food trucks. It's just a good time, really just celebrating all the culture that makes up our Gulf Coast community. However, drum roll.
I don't have a drum
We
roll,
don't have
but
a
there
drum
we
roll.
go. I'm gonna go tell on you though. Here we go. Now go ahead and deliver that, bro.
Also,
Cinematically.
however, after that, at 8 p.m., we have the Films for the Culture Film Fest. So while we're talking about films, come out and support these local filmmakers at the Films for the Culture Film Fest that takes place at 8 p.m. outside at Seville Square. It will be a magical night underneath the stars where we will be celebrating local filmmakers from around the Gulf Coast and surrounding areas by watching their short films. And
Back
so,
to regular camera view.
as a filmmaker watching or listening to our podcast, make short films so you can submit next year. Because we're always looking for short films and content, and we want to highlight the art. That's what it's all about: supporting each other and supporting the art. So y'all come out, support the film festival, support the actual festival, and have a good time. Free admission all day.
May 31st,
May
2025,
31st.
10 to 6 p.m. Now reading right off the poster.
And then 8 p.m. Oh yeah, it's a poster here. Y'all can't see it in the background. 8 p.m. For the film festival. Yabui looks like he wants to.
Want me to wrap focus and
yeah.
zoom in?
Mhm,
There you go,
mhm.
boom. A little
Y'all check
focus
that.
action, boom.
Y'all check this poster out just in case y'all see
Check
it
out that
around
bokeh,
town.
bro.
Hey, that's a nice.
If your camera doesn't have great, can't go super wide up with the aperture, work on those zoom lenses, bro. Zoom. Get that compression. Get that bokeh. Here you go. It's only on 3.2 for the aperture, but look at the bokeh because we're zoomed in.
Nice.
Zoom lenses. Very creative.
And that is our tech talk for today. No, but seriously, y'all be sure to come out, support each other, show love where love is. As we get ready to close out tonight, I do want to thank you all again for tuning in with us tonight. But with each episode, as you know, we have to close it out with our final thoughts. So I'm gonna turn over the mic temporarily to Yabui and let him share his final thoughts.
Yeah, Chat GPT. I'm Mr. AI
Brought to you
over
by
here.
Chat GPT.
Shout out to Jermaine Williams. I agree with a plan, but sometimes mistakes makes a film better than what you planned. Mistakes create opportunities to flex creativity, to outthink a problem, and it makes the film better. Blessings in disguise. Always a blessing in disguise. Let me flip it to you.
Also, thank you, Hedda Marie Horton England, for tuning in with us tonight as well.
Okay. Great comment there. All right.
Probably something we were talking about, yeah.
Okay, let me take this off so I can.
You gotta take your glasses off to read.
Yeah, because it's out of the distance.
Oh.
And it's I mean, it's a little bit blurry. And thanks, Sony, for autofocus because everything's blurry when I'm looking in the camera. Anyways, in the reel of short films, time whispers in shadows and flickers of light. Each scene of heartbreak, each silence a verse. So let your lens linger on truth, edit with grace, and trust that even the briefest story can echo forever. ChatGPT, baby.
All right. So, my turn. I was not prepared, but that was nice.
Also, episode 9 will be on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Oh wait, hold on. Yes.
Tonight, we're going to get updated with last week's episode as well.
Yes, please. Yeah, after we post it, please y'all go back and tune in to last week's episode on the go where we had conversations with Mr. Q, and it was interesting conversations that you all want to go back and dive into because Mr. Q, who is a local musician and music composer, indie music composer, came on last week and we talked about setting the tone for the film. So, and the importance of how music is used to convey emotion within film. So y'all definitely go find that, like and follow us on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And you can go back and watch each episode as well on YouTube. Hold on one moment for me. All right, we got any more comments before I give my final thoughts? All right. So my final thoughts for today, which will also be brought to you by ChatGPT, since this is now what we do. Here is some great words from a robot. Some of the greatest films ever made started as a few minutes of vision, gift, and belief. Whether you're shooting a 3-minute short film or dreaming of a 90-minute feature, remember, it's not about the length of the story. It's about the impact it leaves. Every frame counts. Keep creating. That was actually really beautiful. Like, dang, that was a message. So y'all, thank y'all again. Definitely tune in. Thanks for tuning in with us. We'll be back again next Thursday, 8 p.m. 30ish. So y'all be able to tune in, and we thank y'all for tuning in with us again tonight. Great conversation, great vibes all around as we call the shots on the Shot Callers podcast. I'm your host, Kalvo G, along with my co-host.
This is Yabui. Let's go ahead and play some of our music here that we created.
Oh God,
Songs are dope, bro. I've been making music for all of Pensacola today, redoing their covers. Not playing. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Hey. Are we out?
Yabui, they waiting on who next.